Right, Restoration Part 2. I have here the Litany of the Saints and Martyrs of England. It's a long litany, and at the beginning there's a vision of St. Dominic Savio. Now I'm going to come back to that vision, and I'm going to speak to you about prophecies regarding the conversion of England. But I was going to go back to the image that we had. Britain, once converted, was the first to give the scepter to Our Lady's Son. Britain was converted to the Catholic faith way back in the 7th century when St. Augustine of Canterbury was sent from Rome by Pope Gregory the Great to bring the Catholic faith to this nation. Now note, there were Christians here, there were Catholics in this country, but the land was mainly pagan. And when St. Augustine comes, he starts baptizing thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And very quickly, the nation became Catholic. Totally Catholic. On fire for Jesus. On fire for the Blessed Virgin Mary. On fire for St. Peter. Okay? That was what it was about. It was about Mary, Jesus, Mary and St. Peter. And I can prove that. Are you ready? Are you ready? This is a beautiful document. It's actually a letter. This is called the Consecration of England to the Mother of God and to the Prince of the Apostles. How many times you see that nowadays? You never hear it. Okay. This is from the Cardinal Archbishop and Bishops of the Province of Westminster. And this is going back over 100 years. This was from the visit of our clergy, of our bishops, to Pope Leo XIII. And this is what Pope Leo XIII wrote to us, or said. It pleases us to point out two most important religious lessons. This is the Pope Leo XIII, folks. Right? Two most important religious lessons to be drawn from the annals of English history. And as they reflect great credit on your forefathers, remember, ancient splendour to be restored, so will they, we doubt not, if repeated, now prove to be of the greatest benefit to your countrymen. Please God, these lessons to be repeated. The first is the wonderful filial love which burned within the hearts of your forefathers towards the great Mother of God, Christ's happy minister in our salvation, to whose service they consecrated themselves with such abundant proofs of devotion that the kingdom itself acquired the singular and honourable title, or highly honourable title, of Mary's Dowry. Pope Leo XIII recognising England as Mary's Dowry because of the devotion of the people of this nation to Mary. Our forefathers. That's going back over 1,000 years, it's going back 1,400 years. Our forefathers in the faith, who are all saints. There are so many saints in this nation. That's the first lesson. The second lesson relates to the special worship always paid by the English to the Prince of the Apostles as primary patron of their kingdom. To this worship, numerous and stately collegiate foundations, monasteries and churches, also many documents written by our predecessors, bear ample testimony, and notably that charter of your sainted King Edward, wherein he records and confirms the extraordinary devotion which the English people had ever borne towards Blessed Peter and his successors. It is therefore our most earnest desire that faithful England should once more with the greatest fervour revive her devotion to these two patrons of the faith, to these two powerful guardians of all virtue. And God prompting us, we will earnestly exhort the faithful of England to follow the example of their forefathers, and by a solemn religious rite to dedicate and consecrate the whole country to the most holy Mother of God and to the blessed Prince of the Apostles. This is Pope Leo XIII, folks. He's telling us to consecrate our nation to Our Lady and Blessed Peter, and also to be devoted to the successors of St. Peter. And I bring that up in the most strong language I can possibly tell you. We have to get a grip on our relationship with Pope Francis, because there is so much slander and venom towards him at the moment. And it's got to stop, because we have to be loyal servants of the Holy Father if we want successful and fruitful evangelization in this nation. If we're just going to, the Pope says it, the special worship always paid by the English to the Prince of the Apostles as primary patron of their kingdom. So we've done the rededication of England as the Dowry of Mary. We need to consecrate England also to the Prince of the Apostles. And we need to be faithful to his successor. It's interesting that at the Reformation, those things, Eucharist, Our Lady and St. Peter, thrown out. We need to bring them all back in and be fervent in our devotion towards them, like our forefathers.